What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. It's been some time since I made a video, but this video is going to be of the utmost importance. I think you need to stay tuned because I have a lot of data, and this is coming to you with urgency. You need to watch this. Okay, so S&P is currently upward. Notice that today is the day where markets entered the final rally in the 2020 pattern. I plotted the 2020 pattern months ago, and the panic collapse was identified as October 2nd. And there are no coincidences with Aladdin in control. So Aladdin is this like AI type software. It is powerful that BlackRock uses to manage the markets. And it's very, very interesting to say the least. And I think it's even more interesting here that the 2020 pattern is what happened in when the pandemic started, and finance law went ahead and plotted that versus what we have here. And when you compare that to where we stand, it looks like there's a final rally. And basically where we've entered right here is where that bounce happened. And right now on the S&P 500, we've caught a bounce. So he's saying there's going to be a bounce headed towards October 2nd. October 2nd to keep your eyes peeled. And if it comes here, right at this top right there, and bounces back down, we may be in for a reckoning. So keep your eyes open for October 2nd and see, obviously it may not happen October 2nd, but if we're looking at these charts, we know that the S&P was the only one to touch the 4.236 extension. Okay? So it's I think you're not going to see the S&P go any higher. I think you've seen its peak. So this is something to keep watching, and things might hit the fan starting in October. So folks, we are on the precipice of something dramatic, something crazy. We know that the impending, not just recession, this is going to be a lot worse than a recession. We might be seeing the likes of a depression, if not a lot worse. Because when you look at the statistics of the Great Depression versus today, adjusted for inflation, we're doing a lot worse. So here you see, now when you're driving your own car, there's a facial recognition that's used at toll stations to check your travel's social credit score. And if your score is very low, you won't be able to pass the toll booths. And that's what it is. You see people driving by, getting facially recognized. That's the reality that those folks are living in. And don't worry, it will come eventually to the rest of the world. This is an interesting chart. This is what it looks like when two generations of young people are essentially locked out of home ownership. The share of young adults living with a parent hasn't been this high since about 1940. Many of the same are set to have to start repaying student loans next week. 1940s, you say, Lynn Alden says, because she's had a thesis that we're going to be living in a 1940s type of inflationary scenario. And it looks like the charts are kind of aligning with, what she's been talking about. Now, if 1987 is about to happen again, next week should be it. Structurally, it's a different world, but these types of events only rhyme. So this is what it was in 1987, and you saw like a 22% drawdown in like a day. So you look at these structures and you wonder, and you see that little bounce back that I was talking about in that first over here, the S&P 500. If we get a little bounce right there, that might be what we're looking at. So we'll monitor this, but if this ends up being the case, watch out. Stock market bottoms after a significant rise in unemployment rate. So typically, like you saw in the previous recessions, whenever there's a uptick in unemployment, you see that the market bottoms. So whenever you see the peak of unemployment, that's usually the bottom of the market. And so as we're starting to tick up, you're going to see this market just come tumbling down. So got to watch out for that. These charts, I'm showing you these charts, and the data's telling the story. And, for people who choose to not listen and who want to keep going and be, like an ostrich with their head in the sand, they're going to feel the pain sooner or later. But you want to be ahead of it. And this is what we've been talking about for years now on this channel. Warning, bankruptcy filings have recently reached levels on par with the 2008 Great Recession and the 2020 pandemic. This indicator often suggests that the economy isn't performing well and has historically always been followed by massive stock market crashes. And so look at these filings for bankruptcy. We're at those levels of the Great Financial Crisis and also the 2020 pandemic. So buckle up, folks. Home prices are now contracting at levels only seen 2 times. Both ended in deep recessions. So where we are now as far as home prices contracting, we're at the levels of 2008 and the 70s. And these were really bad crises, okay? 2008, many of you might know and experienced it. This was very severe. And we're reaching those time periods or the same levels. Job openings are collapsing, preceding the last 3 recessions. So what that means is this is basically an inverse chart of what I showed you before. Unemployment rises, which means that job openings are collapsing. So it's an inverse of each other. And this clearly shows that trend. And so as people, and this is the thing, folks, you hear about the strike that's going on with United Auto Workers. They want better pay. They want, better working conditions. And, fine. Everyone, gets to decide what they want to do. But these people, they're getting laid off. A lot of these automobile manufacturers are laying people off. And what some of them may not realize is that coming here soon, if this is anything even remotely close to the 2008 financial crisis, which it will be, and it's probably going to be far worse, people are going to realize that job security is of the utmost importance, especially to maintain your lifestyle. And most people are living beyond their means. So, when this house of cards comes tumbling down, it's going to get ugly, very, very ugly. And so you need to prepare accordingly. And I think that people don't realize that job security is going to be very, very crucial. And so get more layoffs here. Anyways, folks, we need to watch out for the market. I'm keeping eyes peeled and spread the word. I've shown you plenty of charts here that you can spread around to people and let the chart do the talking. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.